Good day to you and welcome, I'm Ian Balak, and I've played some demo of Against the Storm. I have some notes about it, so... not against it, about it. So, if you are interested in it, go on and try it. The demo is for free. That's something that should be mandatory for the majority of games. Like, really, if you're at least in early access, you should have a demo. Because people need to see if they really want to support you or not. Sometimes the early access seems something completely different. And Against the Storm isn't. It is what I expected. And I'm very happy with what I've seen in the demo. Except for a few things. I know that this is gonna be... the start is gonna be a little technical. But I am somewhat annoyed by some things in these settings. For example, that the game started up at... I'm not kidding you, 6040 to 480 59 Hz. Why? The settings are high, medium, low. I'm okay with that. I had to severely lower the UI size because the UI size doesn't really change when you do things with the resolution, for example. And I can't imagine having that UI size on the original 640. So I'm okay with, you know, having some larger UI, but having to lower it by about 50% is, I think, too much. Otherwise, they have fairly solid options. I like the alert options here, so that's a good thing. Let's go to what the game is. It is a building strategy game where there is an emphasis on time management and resource management more than survival itself. Let's take a look at what the game offers. So, right here we have the Overworld. There is a roguelike element to the game. Let's take a look at what I mean. Currently in the demo you can't use these biomes, so I can only place it here to the Royal Woodlands, a new city. And yes, a new city can only be placed, a new city. As you can see in here, there are golden hexagons and silver hexagons. These silver hexagons are already used by the city I have in here. However, if I place it in right there, it should be fine. Of course, you can place it anywhere you want, but there are ways to make it better. If I want to start a new city, I just click on it, and it gives me some options, such as if I want to embark, what resources do I get, or what bonuses. The thing is that there are special modifiers as well, but you can actually trade with the surrounding cities. So there is this immediate gameplay change, or let's make it slightly easier, or sometimes actually necessary for players who build the previous city. The other element is the smoldering city, which is like the capital. And in the capital, you can buy upgrades, and this is obviously the roguelike element that everybody is going to talk about mostly, the upgrades themselves. These upgrades range from something that's really minor, such as +1 cornerstone available. Cornerstones give you one additional option, that's it. Additional embark points right there. But if you take a look at the last one, I can't, it's actually locked in the demo, we can't look at it, look at those. So in the demo you can unlock only the first tier. But in here, for example, he might have cooked and raw food, pottery. I'm not sure what they mean. Oh yeah, the trader, special trader. Tools as well as perks and blueprints tied to agriculture for sale. So different traders will come to your city. These are fairly necessary. Now, I wanted to talk about the game itself. The game itself, like this is the game itself, of course, but once you go into a map, you just start with, you know, you can embark with a few things, and you embark. Now, this is a building resource management strategy game. You can see that we right away start with some forest mysteries and additional effects, such as harvesting speed in the Royal Woodlands is increased by +10%. You can have cons or bonuses and minuses as well. Active in drizzle, so mushrooms +3 to mushroom production, gain additional production every yield. What is this? Affects humans. The unit is in good mood, so fulfill at least 2 of the following needs. Complex food 2 times. You have plenty of things to consider when you're starting. For example, these are the negative ones. Looming darkness, the rampaging storm stifles the spirit of all living creatures. -5 to global resolve. I'll talk about the resolve. And for example, if people don't have clothing, fulfill at least 1 need clothing in here, means that they will move 40% slower. In other words, if you don't have them clothed, they are significantly slower than if they have clothes. +10 chance to destroy the yield each cycle. You need to have some services. There is a lot in this game, a lot. Now, there are standard controls for time, speed, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and space to pause this. And what's important and makes it quite a different game, is the humans, beavers, and lizards. You actually have three different races, and each race or species focuses on different things better. So for example, humans are better farmers and cooks, beavers are good with woodworking and rain punk technology, and lizards are better with animals and meat production. They also work better with warmer environments. You have to take care of food, building materials, other resources. You have fuel, which is required for the ancient hearth. Generally, it's gonna be wood. We all understand that the standard wood is gonna be the main resource. You can actually leave this out. Well, now there is a lot of different things to build, but you will usually start by picking up a few points, which are reputation points, and let me tell you before I go to what you get for those points, how you get those points. So as you progress, which is usually by quests, which are going to be up here in a short time, or by keeping your people happy, you can see the blue line on the left. By these, you get reputation points. And reputation points help you unlock, for example, furnaces, supplier, and carpenter. You can choose one, you can reroll, depends on you. Rerolls at the beginning, I think they cost 0 at the beginning. They can cost more. Ember is something you get either with upgrades, you can get it from plenty of sources, or usually you trade them. Now, these you have to choose which one do you think is going to be the most useful to you, because you can pick only one, of course. So for example, this one can produce bricks out of clay, copper bars out of copper, and pies. Pies help significantly with lizard population, for example. Carpenters can give you planks, training gears, and packs of luxury goods. And this one can produce fabric, pottery, and pack of trade goods. I'm gonna go... let's take a look. We have some flex field, for example. So I can see that flex is gonna be fine. Therefore, I maybe want to produce fabric. That's gonna be it. Trappers, foragers, these all gather some different things, and you can see how many resources there are. That's why this is not a survival game as per se. This is more of a resource management against time. It is a bit like Frostpunk in this, if you've played that, where you are always running against the weather. Here you are running against a different thing, and I will get to it once I, for example, choose, I don't know, forager. Let's take the trapper's camp, and let's take small farm. Small farms are generally good. You are running against Queen's Impatience. Now, Queen's Impatience increases by 0.2 per minute, and it can get worse if your citizens are unhappy or by external factors. Now, once you actually are unable to finish the scenario, such as this one, there is always a goal to complete whatever is necessary. It's different every scenario. If this runs out before you complete the scenario, you lost. So you don't want to do that. Our resolve is a different thing. You can see right now that camps, this is simply gathering stuff. So for example, woodcutters, yeah, sure, we want woodcutters. Let's take a look where we could place woodcutters. There could be some woodcutter in here and one woodcutter in here. Now woodcutting is generally a fairly useful thing because you need to explore. As you can see, the map itself isn't that small, but it isn't that large. It is somewhat of a square-like map with plenty of these glades. Now these glades usually contain some bonuses, but you can see that some of them have this head over them. That means that it's a dangerous glade, and you will usually have to appease like something inside. It can be a spirit, it can be that you have to sacrifice something in a temple. There can be a creature that you have to feed properly in order to not kill your people. What happens very often is that there is or at least at the beginning, is that there is a temple and you have to bring a specific resource to the temple, which will, you know, stop killing your people. Because there is a trigger, and for example, every 7 minutes it kills 3 people. Or people. Your units in general, it can be beavers or lizards. Now, I will kind of want to do this, but I don't think that's good enough. These ones should be able to collect reed and eggs, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so they will collect both. There is a system of paths. These paths are not necessary. However, they increase movement speed of your units, which is significantly, which is a significant help if you ask me. Now, the paths, they cost nothing. So it is generally better to have those paths to the houses when you can. Now you can see that at speed 4, this is fine. You can also set where you want to cut. So for example, if you want to cut into different glades, you can do it like this, and this will enter you these glades. I could do it just like this, and that could open me these glades. As I continue, I have to place new units in. Now these units, usually you want to put, for example, beavers in woodcutting because they have a woodcutting bonus. You want to place those humans into farming and lizards into whatever is related to meat and, for example, eggs or animals in general. You can see that some of these buildings, such as this one, have a locked place. So this is only where you can place your lizards, for example. You can use any other one on the top one, but sometimes there is this locked species locked, let's say, and it is a bit annoying, but it also forces you to work with your, let's say, people as resources. Now, as this continues, you can see that we have a new thing on the top right. And this is a peck of a cornerstone. These cornerstones will appear regularly and they will give you some kind of a bonus. So for example, right now I have 1 yard, which is the settlement specializes in wine. Gain +1 to beaver resolve for every 50 wine produced. I have to say that I haven't seen wine here, so that's maybe not the best thing. Top 10 tips on how to cook more efficiently. Gain 5 jerky for every 10 mush soup produced. We don't have that much cooking. And giant vegetables +2, gain additional vegetables every yield. I actually do like this one, but I am unsure on whether when it will be possible to do something a little bit more advanced, such as the mush soup. Now, you can see that these are all currently active, and we need some services, and what we got are orders. Orders from the queen, you can pick some. There you have hunters, for example, or camps. You always have the objective, and you always have the on the reward. The reward is usually 1 reputation point, but this is the main way of getting your groups of people. They, of course, also come in regularly through the first thing, but and other things as well. But this is very much, usually for me, it's like 50% of the whole population is gotten by an order. So, trapper camp. We have a trapper camp, but we didn't find any meat. Scavenger camp and stonecutter's camp. We already have a scavenger camp, so just give me a moment. We have a stonecutter's camp, so we could build it and get this, which would actually allow us to get 3 parts, which are necessary for building more buildings, and crate. But that's not that great. I actually gonna take this one. It's just plain better, and we just need to build it. We just need to build a trapper's camp, which isn't actually that difficult. Or is that difficult? It's actually very easy, so I can just build it. By the way, in order to properly to build anything, you need to have unemployed beavers. You can see them on the top left. That you have those free workers and you have homeless. Well, we can cover that right away with a shelter. Simple as that. You place a shelter. Currently, we're gonna place just a few on the other side. Let's make it a little bit symmetrical if possible. And that's it. They're gonna start building these. Now, as we progress, you get more of these. They are more difficult. So, for example, this one gives you 1 from each, and I actually like it. So, and they want 3 shelters. That's great. Let's get it. And the other thing is, a simple path doesn't. Okay, useful tools for creating. Move 10% faster on roads. That might be useful. We just need to build 35 roads, and that is something that you will do naturally over time, so you don't have to do it, but you could, of course, make a square or something. As it progresses, it's really more about management. Now, you've noticed one thing, and that's my major gripe right here, or you've probably noticed. This is maximum zoom out. You can zoom in quite a lot, and I actually like the animations, I actually like the style of the creatures or your people in general. But the fact that this is maximum zoom out, it brings me kind of back to Warcraft 3 and mostly Warcraft 3 times, when sometimes I was like, that zoom is quite close. And this is really close. I would actually prefer having it quite a bit back. Now let's take a look, what do we have in here? You can of course rotate it. Rotate your map. We got some vegetables. And you can always see that when you find a new glade, there's this overview here, abandoned catch. So we don't have tools, but this leads me to another thing that I wanted to show you. You can choose from multiple things. God damn it, my wife. You can choose from multiple things. Simple tools or infused tools, for example. But later on, in different things, for example, in here, in Dangerous Glades, you can actually choose from a plethora of things, a plethora of sacrifices. And if the first thing that shows up, for example this one, if you don't have it, take a look, because you might actually have another resource. As mentioned, once again, this is a resource management game. It is not a true survival game. It is not an action RTS, whatever. I haven't noticed any combat here, for example. But what it is something that forces you to manage your resources properly as you're running against the Queen's impatience. So you can't just stack up on things, wait forever and then complete all the glades at the same time, whatever. No. You actually need to explore, you actually need to continue, you need to expand, exploit, and it's a nice thing. They did it very well. However, for me, I will wait at least a few months, few patches, or maybe even up to full release, if they don't come up with better zoom out. For me, this is a kill. I like games that are resource management to have some kind of proper overview. For example, like right here, you can see these. I noticed this after quite some time, that if you click on your population, you actually see where they are, and you can place them like this as well. So for example, if I would like to place a dino, I can do it here. I can remove that. But once again, I didn't notice any large overview. I didn't notice any significant help that could actually show you right away how many resources are left. You have to click on it, and now it shows you that, oh, you know, they have these resources, but it doesn't actually show you what are the resources surrounding it. You have to click on this manually, which would be great if you could just see, oh, this woodcutter can actually cut plenty more. It only shows you when they have nothing else to work on. So for me, currently, some UI elements would be great. So something that would actually show you more info about the resources, about the, so that you can manage them slightly better, and mostly the zoom out. Zoom out is very much, let's abandon it, is very much apparent on the world map, because this looks like a freaking mobile game. This is, you know, it's nice. The picture itself is nice, but it is somewhat low res and low, or at least, you know, low effort. And that is okay when you have it on a 5-inch, 6-inch screen, whatever you have as a phone. And the smaller the screen, the better for this type of graphics. This looks like some asset that was maybe store-bought. I'm not sure about that, you know, that's just a guess. But I would like to have a proper zoom out. Now you can see that in here there are cycles. I'm not gonna talk about everything. I'm not gonna spoil everything, because it is a game about discovery. It, as all roguelikes are. But I have to say that I will wait a few patches. If you like it, I completely understand it. It seems to be a fine game. It seems to be a good game, so go for it. Don't be afraid. You know, maybe you'll get back to it later once it actually patches up some things, or once it fully releases. And if you just want to support the studio by, you know, buying it right now, go for it. For me, it's a bit of a wait right now. Mostly because of the small annoyances in the UI. So, thanks for watching. I hope that I didn't rant so much. I hope that this worked slightly as an introduction, as much as what I think about the game itself. And once again, thanks for watching, and see you next time.